What is going on? We'll wait till we get a few people in here. We'll do a little bit of rigging. In the meanwhile, starting to get some people pulling up in here. Sup, everybody? You're just now tuning in. Tonight we are talking tiny little jerk baits. Little guy right there is a fish catcher. This dude caught over 100 fish a couple days ago. Look at this treble hook. It's all bent up. What up? We're going to bring back the Friday Night Lives. When I was doing the Friday Night Lives every Friday, that was a lot of fun. This little jerkbait right here did not get bit. And I was surprised because they're on some tiny little bait right now. We're going to leave out the jerkbait box. We need some new Florida carbon leader. Got an 8-hour trip on Toho tomorrow. We're going to be doing a lot of jerkbait slinging. And I mean a lot. Might even throw the hair jig. They are absolutely dumping water out of Toho right now. I mean, they are spilling it. They've got the gate wide open. The wintertime running water bite is on right now, guys. If you have not been to Toho, it is on. Little hair jigs like that guy right there. Absolutely get it done in some cold running water. What's up? Have a Merry Christmas to you and your family, buddy. You as well. You as well. There will be some more live streams before Christmas, but if I don't see or talk to any of you guys before then, I hope all of y'all have an incredible and Merry Christmas. Where's that hat from? Ooh, man, I can't disclose that information, but just know that's the deadliest frog that ever existed. That is a killer gill spro popping frog right there. And for those of you that know, the old killer gill spro popping frog is as good as it gets. But when you've got a killer gill spro popping frog on a hat, you got the right hat. So, truth be told, a client of mine gave me this hat. One of the last times I saw him, he gave me this hat. He was like, "Hey, man, I know you like that Killer Gill Spro Poppin' Frog. I saw this hat and it made me think of you." And so he gave me this hat. Retying all my jerkbait stuff for tomorrow. Guys, if y'all have not been to Toho in the last week or two, the bite is incredible out there right now. If you're very good with a jerkbait or a weightless fluke, you can go out on Toho right now and catch 100 fish a day. It is insane. They're not catching a lot of giants, or at least I'm not, anyways. But we are killing them on numbers out there right now. My wife is excited. What is your wife excited about? Christmas? Holidays? X80 Trick Darter was the ticket for me a couple days ago on Toho. I could see that. I could see that. Any kind of a small bait fish imitation right now, you can absolutely wear them out. Absolutely wear them out. I have found that I personally, sometimes it's kind of challenging for the clients, but I have found that me personally, I can pick off some of the bigger ones out of some of those schools out there on just a simple jig head and minnow. Are you guys throwing a clip, like a speed clip, on any of your baits? If not, you'll need to. I love these little things. These are from Spro. They don't weigh very much. They don't affect the action of your bait. When it comes to things like jerk baits, it actually gives it a little bit more range of motion. It's deadly stuff right there. Now, this little Flit 100, very small jerk bait. So I run him on spinning rod. If you guys want to know the real secret to catching the bigger fish out of all those schooly fish out there on Toho, what you do is you go get you some shiners and sit right in front of the marina all day with some shiners. Guaranteed to catch all the trophy bass. I'm going to show you guys a bait that we've been killing them on Toho. And to be honest, I probably shouldn't show it to you guys. But for all y'all who are tuned in live, you get brownie points. I'm going to show it to you anyways. And this bait is a very special bait. It is a jointed swim bait that comes from Japan, and it is called a Supaku swimmer. But that little guy right there runs through the water like you wouldn't believe. And this little thing right here is absolutely crushing them on Toho right now. That is a nasty little swim bait. And we're talking about catching a fish every single cast. Y'all ain't got that one, I promise you. I tell you guys, Toho is going to be fun tomorrow, but mostly excited about Sunday. I get to go up to the St. Johns River on Sunday. And I am really looking forward to that. I do not get to fish the river as much as I would like to fish the river. I got to go fish Monroe a couple days ago on an electronics setup trip. And to be honest, I was kind of disappointed in Lake Monroe. Lake Monroe does not seem to be fishing very well. I believe we will be fishing out of Astor. Monroe was on fire last week when I was out there. Man, that must have been pre-frontal. When I was out there a couple days ago, it was very cold and very windy. It was not fishing super great. And we got stopped by FWC, which I thought was cool. Always like seeing the boys in green out there checking people. If I had a nickel for every should have been here last week. Man, that's a guide thing. That's a guide thing right there. That's one of my favorite things to tell customers when the fishing is really tough is, man, you should have been here yesterday, or you should have been here last week, or man, you guys should have been here tomorrow. Hopefully Sunday is awesome. Yes, hopefully Sunday is awesome. It's on a little bit better part of the river, in my opinion. Do we have any football fans in here? Any of y'all watch the Bucks atrocious game last night? That was pretty bad. I don't see how you lose to a the Bucks suck. The Bucks do suck. I've been saying it all year. I had a bunch of buddies of mine that wanted to believe they were so good, and they're not. They just simply are not. Been saying it all my life. So my old man had to have been the biggest Buccaneers hater that ever walked the earth. That's funny. You guys want to see the wildest lure you've ever seen? Check out this guy. That's the mouse. I got it right here. Got that dude right there. That thing is so cool, man. European handmade pike lure, the Mura's mouse, ready to go. Ready to go. Dude, we're gonna sling some walking baits tomorrow. I know the water's cold, but they ought to eat that thing. They at least ought to eat that back treble hook. We're gonna find out. What's everybody up to this evening? What are you guys doing besides watching me? Besides watching me rig tackle for an 8-hour Lake Toho trip. You have to have this guy right here on deck, the Junebug Bluetail Stickler Pro. You like the edge rods over the Cinco sticks for X Pride? Mm. I don't know if I want to answer that question. Here's what I can tell you. Right now, my opinion is that Cinco sticks and edge rods are making the two best rods on the market right now. Um, and that has to do with personal preference. Okay. I am really big on the split carbon fiber grips, and I like black and red. This just so happens to be an edge rod. Okay. This is a 7-foot hybrid. This is my favorite jerkbait rod. I got that paired up with a Japanese Shimano Scorpion hog tech handle. This is my personal jerkbait rod. Um, Alex can build this rod probably better, um, because he has more of an ability to build out a rod exactly to your specs. With that being said, I've got to give Cinco sticks the edge over edge rods. See what I did there? Um, right now, primarily because of, and it's extremely important for me personally, turnaround time. Edge, like other small rod companies, um, they build your rods as the orders come in. And so they don't just have a whole bunch of rods laying around from China ready to go. So you go online, you order an edge rod, and just like Alex down there in Okeechobee, they've got to build it. Edge is so far behind on their production right now that I don't even know what the lead times are on rods, but it's pretty ridiculous. It's months, like months. Um, you can order a group of edge rods right now, and it may take 4 or 5 months before you get your rod. I mean, they're awesome sticks, but it's crazy to me to think that it could take half of a year or longer before I get my rods. So with that being said, I'm going to call Alex almost every single time. Um, you know, him and Sam are building an incredible rod. And like I said, I could call Alex up right now and say, Alex, I've got this Edge hybrid 706 1 jerkbait rod that I absolutely love, but I want another one. If I order this rod again from Edge, I'll have it when the jerkbait bite is over. You know, if I call Alex right now and have Alex build this rod, I'll have it here in a week or two. So, gotta give Cinco Sticks the edge on that one. And yes, I agree with you. Knowing that those guys are down there in Okeechobee, and if I have an issue with the rod, I can give them a call. And I'm actually going to talk to Alex. That's pretty cool. So I like Cinco sticks. I'm going to show you guys a rod that Alex built for me to throw chatterbait on that I absolutely love. Tomorrow, I'm going to experiment with it a little bit, and I'm going to cycle from trap to a square bill, chatterbait, everything. But this rod right here is an absolutely beautiful chatterbait rod. This grip is like, it's not like conventional cork. It's like a tack board, and it is freaking awesome. Um, this is a 7.4 chatterbait rod. And so far, that's all I've thrown on it is a chatterbait. But tomorrow, I'm going to throw something completely off the wall on it. I just don't know what yet. Don't know what. Find me a sweet little square bill to throw on it around all those fish because it'll make a great square bill rod also. When the weather gets cold, crankbait bite gets fired up. We are going to start with this guy tomorrow. He is one of my absolute favorites. Made by Jackal, called the Chubble. It's a shallow running circuit board lip square bill that has a long body, kind of a long, narrow body on it. When you're fishing around shallow fish that are chasing a lot of shad right now, these guys are deadly. So, tomorrow we're going to throw the Chubble on the 7.4 chatterbait rod. Was looking up about compounding my boat oxidation out before turning it in. Yeah, that's something that I've had to do on this old 2011 Phoenix of mine several times now. Fortunately, if the oxidation is not bad, it's not too hard. Really good light 3M buffing compound and either a ton of elbow grease or get you a really good orbital. Guys, this is going to be sick tomorrow. I'm looking forward to this. The Chubble, the Jackal Chubble on the Cinco stick 7.4 chatterbait rod. Client's going to throw this in the morning. We're going to see how the client likes it. Tell you what, I've had this rod paired up with ever since I got it. I went out and bought this reel. This is one of those new Lew's KVD Elites. This is KVD Elite reel. It's pretty fast reel, but man, I'll tell you what, this reel for a $150-ish reel is really, really impressive. This thing casts a freaking mile and it is very smooth. Really, really high marks so far on the Lew's KVD Elite. Great reel. Really great reel. If you guys are in the market for a new bait cast reel in that like $150 price point, I would look into those. Eric, how is the south end of Toho looking? It looks good. There's a lot of hydrola down there. You know, it's community hole central down there. Not too many days go by that I don't tear off out of Southport and see 7 to 15 boats all on the same hydrilla edge out there. It's hilarious. These guys act like there's literally nowhere else to fish in the lake, but to each their own. I imagine now that they're pulling all the water off Toho, 'cause Toho's been crazy high, crazy, crazy high. And they've been dumping water out of Toho for a little bit now. That water coming down is going to expose all that hydrilla as being topped out again. You're going to see some craziness out there. Might start getting a like kind of a December frog bite going. If they really pull a lot of water off the lake and that hydrilla tops out, be out there punching it. Had a KVD rod that snapped on the first cast a few weeks ago. Same day I snapped my steering cable on trolling motor. Jesus Christ. But did you snap any big ones that day? Sounds like a good day for some snappage. Oh, snap. That's right. You guys are just now tuning in. I'm bringing back Friday Night Lives from the garage. Kind of ran out of people to interview on my little Friday Night Lives. I was having fun with that, but had a few people that were game to come on here and talk and interview, and that was a lot of fun. And then I ran out of people. Some of the people that I asked, they weren't really interested. But I think I got some people that I might be able to get to come on here. I'm gonna try to get some industry people on here, man. I'm gonna try to get Chuck Pippin on here. Ask Chuck. What's going on at CPF Lures? What's going on at Icon Boats? How about that Pippin guy? Jinx. How about that Pippin guy? What I should do is I should start getting some other guides on here and interviewing some other guides and try to get Sean Rush on here. If you guys don't know who Sean Rush is the king of giant bass out of Rodman Reservoir. That dude's probably got more clients with trophy catch fish than anybody else. We need to get some swim bait people on here talking about swim baits. That's a bad dude right there. That is a bad dude right there. Caught some janks on that one. But I've also caught some janks on that one. You guys know what this is? The Okashira screwhead. Get thing king of the Winter Haven chain. Interested in what he says. Who is the king of the Winter Haven chain? Probably the king of the Winter Haven chain that I know of is a young man by the name of Trevor Stevens. I think is his last name. Isn't he like the king of the Winter Haven chain? I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about the Winter Haven chain. Yes, Megabass Oak Shear Screwhead. You guys know what this is? This is a handmade, hand tied white chatterbait that was given to me. I don't like it. It is jackhammer or nothing for me. What's the bigger one? Oh, the swim bait. That guy right there. Show you guys what that dude is. Because I keep them stocked up. It's that dude right there. That's a bad dude right there. Especially this time of year. We are just about rigged up. Turn you guys around so I can sit in the super comfy hot seat. In the hot seat. Little Friday night live from the garage. The only thing I'm missing is a crispy boy. Curls. Yeah, that kid, Curls. Trevor Stevens. He's like, I think he's the king of the chain, right? He's the kid that wins all the Winter Haven chain tournaments. Uh, ever use the Bass Mafia unrigged swim baits? I have not used any of the Bass Mafia swim baits. Those are the Chris Zaldane, right? The Zaldangerous swim baits. When's Chuck gonna put you in an icon? Ha! They don't put anybody in an icon, big dog. You gotta have money to spend to go into an icon. And I can tell you, this old boy right here, uh, on full time guide salary, yeah, no, we gonna keep rocking the old red Phoenix. There ain't no money for an icon. I can tell you that. Good lord. They just came out with like a budget model. You can buy an icon now for like $110,000 out the door. Crazy, man. I freaking not trying to sound like old gripey boomer guy over here, but dude, I paid $160,000 for my house 8 years ago. It's been crazy to me to see people trying to sell bass boats for 100 and God, man, 120, 130, 140, $150,000. It's absurd. It is crazy. And there is a lot of people that will pay that for a bass boat. So I unfortunately just simply do not have the money to pay that for a bass boat. Steve Coleman is a good guy, guides out of Headwaters. I don't know Steve Coleman. The only name I know of from Headwaters is that Kenny guy. What's Kenny's last name? Haas, Haas, Kenny Haas. He's the guy that was on JT Kenny's fishing show. Kenny Haas. Him and JT Kenny filmed a show where they were, yeah, Kenny Haas. Him and JT Kenny filmed a show on Headwaters where they were shiner fishing out there. It was pretty cool. That's who I should get on here is JT Kenny. I probably know someone who knows somebody who knows JT Kenny, and I could probably get JT Kenny on Captain Erik Tilson Friday Night Live. We talk about flipping, we talk about punching, talk about frogging, we talk about all the good stuff. Because JT Kenny, although was a big time professional guy on the FLW tour for a long time back in their heyday, he's a get it done, heavy, big, heavy rod, heavy braid kind of guy. So be pretty cool. We could probably get Kenny Haas on here. I'll have to look into Steve Coleman. I don't know. The only Steve Coleman that I know is the Steve Coleman that I fished with for years in tournaments, and we dominated around here. Stephen Coleman was my tournament partner for a while. You should do a rod and reel tackle setup night. Man, I should. I should. That was tonight. Fortunately, Toho's easy right now. If you throw it in front of them on Toho right now, they will eat it. They will absolutely eat it. What is going on, Robin? Robin, I saw your picture on Charlie Winepearl's post today. You should be gracious that you made it to his Facebook post. I guess you fell into the honorable mentions category. Didn't quite make it into check contention, but you did have a good day on the Kissimmee Channel Lakes. My boy Robin here comes down every winter to survive in the warmth, but he is a guide, right? Robin, correct me if I'm wrong, but are you like a steelhead guide up north? You guys do the trolling boats where you troll crazy big tackle and stuff like that and downriggers and everything behind the boat for big steelhead? How do I think a Popka will be this weekend? Man, I personally so oh man, some of y'all are gonna hate me for this, but personally, I think a Popka is ass every day, except during the spawn. During the spawn, that lake is freaking good because all those stupid, nasty, smelly stockfish, because every single fish that lives in that lake right now was stocked in there 6, 7, 8 years ago or whatever it was. They move up to spawn. So during the spawn, it gets good. But my opinion, year round, that lake sucks. Lake Apopka should be renamed Lake Ass. I don't care for Apopka. Like literally, the rest of the Harris chain is way more consistent on a daily basis than Apopka. But who knows? It might be really good. Yeah. So Robin guy is pretty much all trout and salmon. Yep. All trout and salmon. I follow Robin on Instagram and they put up some big fish. Crazy fish, cool looking fish. Robin, I need to get up there with you during the year when you're actually working. Come get on the boat. Come fish for some of those things. Those fish are pretty cool. Team up for a crappie catch and cook. I'm about it. Anytime somebody wants to go catch crappie with me, we can go. We can definitely go. I am a big time go catch them, come back, clean them, have a good drink, fry them up, and eat them kind of guy. Big time. Let's see here, Tom. It's like more of a breakdown of what rods you use for what baits and what lines. Yep. Got one of those coming. My computer. So, my brother, who is like Mr. Computer software engineer guru guy, he built me this insane computer. And somehow I have messed it up. I don't know. So he's coming over this weekend to come get it fixed. And once my computer is fixed, I have got a super sick video that I am going to edit up and drop here on YouTube. And it was from when I had the UK guy out with me. I don't know exactly how many fish he caught that day, but it was a lot. Like, I mean, a lot. And I think the way I'm going to edit that video is every time he catches one, I'm going to have like a little counter in the bottom going because that day was insane. I caught the one on the big musky lure. That was cool. But the number of fish that he caught that day with me was absolutely incredible. So as soon as I get the computer fixed, we will get that video edited and get that uploaded to the channel. I will also be getting some Lake Tahoe holiday fishing reports onto the channel, rod suggestions, all that kind of stuff. It is my lovely wife, and she has brought me something cold and crispy to drink. Ah, crispy boys on a Friday night in the garage make the world go round. Sounds good. Got a lot of rigging to do for Sunday. Yes, you do, because you're guiding me out of your boat. So you better make sure that the rods, reels, line, all of it is in tip top shape, and that boat better be detailed. I do not go in crusty, nasty boats. It's bad enough that I'm having to go in your Skeeter. That thing better be spotless. Ah, come here. Off of there. So pretty excited about tomorrow's trip on Lake Toho. I'll tell you guys what. I have got a husband and wife that know how to fish. I've got a husband and wife tomorrow that they have both requested right-handed bait casters. This is going to be a first for me. I've never had a husband and wife that can fish with right-handed bait casters. And in over 3 years of guiding full time now, I have never had a woman on board the boat that can use a right-handed bait caster. So I'm excited in the morning to let her. We're gonna be doing the jerk bait thing, and throw this jerk bait over here, give it a couple twitches, and put God 10 or 15 fish in the boat in no time flat. But I'm excited to put that bad boy right there in their hands tomorrow and tell them just give it a couple twitches and let it sit. This was a couple weeks ago, brand new. Look at the teeth rash on this thing. Dude, y'all don't think this thing has been chewed? It's on its like third set of hooks. That's a bad dude right there. That is a bad dude right there. Right now and over the next several months, December, January, February, March, April, if you don't have a really good horse tied on, you're missing out. You are missing out. Horse is absolutely deadly and it will catch giants. I mean, giants. You've got a shallow area that you're fishing through with a worm or a chatterbait or whatever the case may be, and you're catching some good fish. I will tell you right now, get that horse out and always remember the key to horse fishing is you don't twitch it again until the rings have dissipated. That thing gets munched by big ones. Just got to figure out what the heck to rig up. Man, Thomas, I would think that a good start is going to be the basics on the St. Johns River this weekend. You're going to want a Texas rig worm for sure. We're guaranteed going to be fishing shell bars. Um, Lipless crankbait, always a lipless crankbait on St. Johns River, gold with a black back. If you've got any Alabama rigs, probably an Alabama rig, and probably definitely going to be doing some mat punching for sure. Got one tied on right now. Got to get me a couple of them. Robin, Bridge Masters. Bridge Masters has still got, the last time I was in there, they still have some Brian Heberlin. Oh, my wife is in here. What is up? But Robin, last time I was in Bridge Masters, they had on the shelf some Brian Heberlin horses. Brian had some health issues earlier in the year. I think he may have had a minor heart attack. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But the last time I reached out to Brian, He at that time he wasn't really making any baits, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. I know he's doing better now, and hopefully we'll get back to making some baits again because Brian Heberlin makes the absolute best devil's horse that you can throw. Nobody makes a better devil's horse than Brian Heberlin. Yeah. And find me one of those Smithwicks don't seem to do the trick. Man, Smithwicks are good, dude. The OG Smithwicks are good. If you're saying that the Smithwick doesn't do the trick, um, the simplest way to put it is probably the user and not the bait. Um, those are the OGs. You know, we had Smithwick Devil's horses long before we ever had all these really cool airbrushed ones, and they catch big fish. It's just there's some tunings and some modifications. There's some really cool mods that you can do to the old Smithwick Devil's horses that really make them plop and chug under the water a lot better. And I'll show you how to modify and trick out your Smithwick Devil's horse this weekend. But the benefit that's mainly the big benefit to buying the custom handmade ones that you get from like Brian Heberlin is they're tuned up. They are really tuned up and they really do the job well. Um, where do we get that particular lure? Like I said, that's a Brian Heberlin custom devil's horse. Um, I can tell you right now, if you can find any Brian Heberlin horses for sale, you better scoop them up. Do you throw spoons and blades this time of year? Absolutely. It is the time of year for blade baits and spoons to shine. I personally am a Jackal Daracoup guy. The Jackal Daracoup is my go-to if I get around spoon or blade bait fish. It will almost every time guaranteed it'll outperform anything else you'll throw. Do I fly fish? Man, I don't fly fish very much, Owen. I got into it a few years ago. My wife and I, we spend quite a bit of time vacationing to Tennessee, and I made it a point to carry a fly rod around with me for a couple of years and fly fish some of those creeks and streams around there. I only ever had a shot at a trout once in a creek, and I don't know. It's a lot of work and it's really tedious. And all the fly fishing I did, you're really pursuing fish that are like this big, and just it doesn't do anything for me. Caught a couple of fish on an old tiny torpedo the other day, man. Old tiny torpedo. I have got a torpedo bait, custom handmade balsa torpedo bait in there that I would bet an entire day's wages that torpedo that I'm talking about has caught over 200, probably somewhere between 250 to I don't know 400, 500 fish on Lake Toho. Don't hide the road soda. Let's see what the flavor of choice is. I was feeling kind of bougie. Had my wife pick me up some Stella Artois. I can tell you guys, I do not drink very often and I do not drink very much, but I just got a new bike built. The team over at Trek Bikes in Lakeland, let me show you guys this here. You guys can see this. They disassembled my Aeroframe bike and put all my components on this frame bike, and I went and knocked out a really, really nice 35-mile ride this evening. That's why my face is all red and windburnt. It was really cold, really windy, but there is nothing that goes down quite like a really good cold beer after a really, really long ride like that. So that is what we are drinking on Friday Night Live. I hope all of you other guys out there watching this have something super delicious and crispy to drink. All these plaques, man. All these plaques, trophies, big cardboard checks. Miss tournament fishing, man. I really want to get back into tournament fishing. Pretty bad. I don't know if it'll happen in 2026, but I really think, especially if I can scrounge up enough sponsorship dollars, if I can scrounge up enough of other people's money so I don't have to spend mine, I am going to go back to tournament fishing pretty heavily in 2027. Hopefully. We will see. I miss tournament fishing a lot. I'll provide room and board. Yeah, you better provide room and board, woman. CPF lures. I wish. I wish. CPF Lures will probably sponsor me with some free worms, which is a good thing because I can tell you guys, I be going through some CPF worms. Have a fair collection of CPF worms on the wall, as well as some giant bass. Where's everybody fishing at this weekend? Robin, I know where you're fishing at this weekend. You better stay off my fish, man. Robin, any and all places that we fished together last year, better stay off my fish. John's Lake. Blech. Finally got your hands on some 9X braid. Thomas, was the 9X braid out of stock when you tried to order it originally? Looking forward to trying it out. The 9X braid is the best braid that there is. Justin Malone says he is fishing Taylor Creek Reservoir. Must be nice. Must be freaking nice, man. I wish I was fishing Taylor Creek Reservoir. I am not privileged enough to fish Taylor Creek Reservoir. Toho on Sunday. Good deal. Toho is fishing good, man. It is fishing good. And you do not have to go far. All they had was 20 pounds. Yikes. Thomas, the next time you are having a hard time getting anything from CPF Lures, you need to reach out to me. Don't just sit around and go without. I probably have enough CPF braid in 30 and 45 pound test to go around for a lot of people. Hoping to get down to on Sunday. Worst case scenario, smashing Giants on call. Oh man, get the A rig out. Anytime you're fishing somewhere like Conway or the Butler chain this time of year, get the A rig out. Why isn't there any gosh dang football on tonight? Probably because there was football on last night. John's Lake sucks, but it's a tournament. Well, that's always fun. Suffering is always better in a group. It's always better to suffer with someone else than it is to suffer by yourself. But yeah, get the A rig out on Conway. 3 or 4 of them fighting back is better than just one of those little turds fighting back. I gotta tell you guys, I'm most excited about the St. Johns River on Sunday. Anytime you go up there, it's always an adventure. It could be really good or it could be really bad. There's not usually a whole lot of in between. It's sad too that it got that way because the St. Johns River was phenomenal for a number of years, man. It was really good. Back when I had my bass tracker, I used to spend a lot of time. My wife would get me reservations up there at South Moon Fish Camp in Astor, and I would just go fish the whole weekend on the St. Johns River. I freaking loved it. Man, Robin, if you're still watching this, I was going to tell you, I have got to get you out in the Curtis Low. Robin, you inspired me to get back to the aluminum boat roots. I got the low boat all fixed up. And the low boat is a lot of fun. I have got to get you out on the low boat with me. Robin, I really think that you would appreciate that boat. Dude, that's a good day on the water right there, guys. Last couple of weeks have been cool. Look at that. That's on the giant mouse. Love that boat. 10 boats rock. Yes, they do, man. Yes, they do. When I'm just going fishing by myself, I am taking the low boat. The guy that does all the cycle stuff for me, him and I, we went out yesterday on the low boat out on a lake over here. We did not catch them very good. Hell yeah, excited to see the mouse in action. Dude, you're not ready for the mouse. You are not ready for the mouse. The gigantic European mouse bait works. They have not seen it. These fish around here have not seen giant European mouse baits. And so they fall for it. What reel is that? That reel right there is an old gold Shimano Calcutta that has been completely restored, polished, new bearings, new handle, new everything. That is back when the Calcuttas were really Calcuttas. And that's one of my favorite reels that I own. That's an awesome reel. And it is perfect for slinging big baits, especially like this giant mouse. I want to see a crappie on the mouse. Man, dude, the mouse is bigger than any crappie I've ever caught. And I've caught some big crappie. My PB crappie is a 2 point, I think it was like 2.73 or 2 point, it was either 2.73 or 2.78. That thing was huge, giant, darn good reels. Man, you ain't kidding. Robin, I just picked up another one the other day from a guy. It's pretty banged up and she needs some TLC. She's one of the old, just like this one, but it's one of the silver ones. So I'm gonna be working on it, getting it all dialed back in, get it restored back to its original beauty. But they're some of the best reels ever made, my opinion. They still make them, but the new ones aren't as good as those old ones. They got too many plastic parts in them now. They've still got that metal housing, but when you take them apart, try to fix them, a lot of stuff in there's plastic now. It just doesn't hold up to abuse. These things, man, back all through the 90s and into the 2000s, these guys right here had a chokehold on the bass fishing industry. That was the best flipping reel that you could buy. You could buy that reel right there, spool it up with 25-pound Berkeley big game monofilament, and take a pair of channel locks to that star drag and cinch that thing down. You could drag the biggest bass of your life out of the jungle with no problems. Who works on your reels? I work on my reels. Nobody else. I don't trust anybody else to work on reels. I had one guy work on a reel one time, and literally the next time I went out to use it, it exploded in my hand. So I work on my reels. I just order bearings and parts and stuff like that from HogTech. Pretty much all of my reels that I use personally have HogTech bearings in them, and all my reels, mine or the reels that clients use, are going to have HogTech handles on them. Now, I've got a guy that comes across and finds super sweet deals on reels over in Japan. And from time to time, he'll call me and say, Eric, I found you a reel, and I'll pick them up. Kind of like this one. This is a nasty. Let me take the green screen off. This is a nasty Ingetsu right here. Japanese Ingetsu with a ZPI handle on it. Needs new fluorocarbon. This is just some backer that I got on there. But that reel right there is super high speed tuned. And if you don't know what you're doing with that reel right there, that reel will backlash on you every single cast. But if you know what you're doing and are skilled enough, that reel will cast a very light bait, a very long distance. Really good at taking them apart. That's good, man. That's good. I can tell you, it's good. Fishing reels are like any other tool or anything that you use. It is good to know how to work on them. Thing was like butter. Yep. Yeah. It's nice to have really smooth bar casting reels. I like it. If you've ever been on my boat and had the privilege to use some of the reels, I'll put it this way: if you've ever been on my boat with me and had the privilege to use a reel that I had to give you the warning, like, "Hey, man, look, be careful with this thing for the first couple of casts because it'll get wild on you," then you know that some of these reels that I got are pretty serious and will cast an absolute country mile, just like that guy right there. That thing is disgusting. The Angetsu with the ZPI handle on one of my favorite all-purpose rods ever made. That's a Dobbins Champion Extreme 744. Great rod. Really good rod. The handle ZPI. Yep. Yep, ZPI. If you were trying to get your hands on some ZPI handles, better start scouring eBay and be prepared to pay dearly if you find a good one. Robin, if you are still in here watching, are you going to be fishing with Rob and I? Rob booked his trip a couple days ago with me. Trip or trips, I can't remember. You going to be going with us, Robin? At this point, I don't think it would be the same. What do you call a dead one you found in a closet? I'll tell you what I call it. I call it removed. Not sure yet. Man, like I said, at this point, I don't know that any of these trips that Robert goes on will ever be the same. Dude, it's bad. It's bad. But fortunately for y'all, I don't play that game. I don't play that crap. I'll remove the first one, and then if you drop another stupid comment on here, you get removed from the channel. Need to buy a new reel for this coming up striper run, tossing big glide baits and big top water. Any recommendations? Ooh, man. If you can't, man, what was I was looking at a reel this year. Okay, so that's funny. You're using Alexa 300 right now. It's funny you said that. I was literally just fixing to say that I was looking at a big bait reel at iCast this year at the Daiwa booth. And I don't remember the name of the reel, but it's got big power handles on it. And it is a big, very capable reel from Daiwa. Um, I would say check out Daiwa. And then if you don't find anything from Daiwa that you like, I will tell you with 100% certainty that the Abu Garcia Beast is an awesome freaking reel. Awesome reel, the Abu Garcia Beast, the Revo Beast, great reel. We tried any of the Bates reels. I've not purchased any, but I have used some of them and I was not impressed. They feel really cheap and really flimsy in the hand. A lot of flex in the handles and the thumb grips and stuff. Um, I like the idea behind the Bates reels, the machining process and whatnot, but I don't know. I don't foresee them being around for a long time. It's going to be hard to, as a new reel manufacturer, it's going to be hard to come onto this scene and beat Shimano, Luz, Abu Garcia, Daiwa, all the big names. The big names are the big names for a reason. Um, you may not like everything that any one of them makes, but most of them make something really good, and they're all readily available. I don't know. Was not impressed with the Bates reels. And that's kind of disappointing because I can tell you they've got one on the Bates line called the OG, right? It's a little round reel like the Calcutta. But as a OG Shimano Calcutta enthusiast, if you will, the Bates OG does not even come close to a really good Shimano Calcutta. There's no comparison. But yeah, I would look at Daiwa for sure. Interesting take. Definitely the hot buzz, it seems right now. There's a lot of stuff out there that's the hot buzz right now. Just because it's hot or being pushed, it doesn't mean it's good. I mean, you look at 6 cents, for example, dude. I don't know, man. That stuff sells like crazy, but don't sleep on the. I've never been able to pronounce the name of that. Is it Piscafun? Piscifun? Pisky Fun? We'll call it the China Fun. Don't sleep on the China Fun Alid Jaws 300. I own three of them, solid real. Nice. I don't have any experience with China Fun. I like my reels to be American made in China reels. They're all made in China, but I like an American name on my Chinese reel. To be honest, I'm a big time sucker for some JDM stuff, man. If it comes from Japan, it's probably a lot nicer than what we have over here. Man, this has been a good live. Been on here for 76 minutes. 76 minutes, and we still got 17 people in here talking about fishing, hanging out, drinking a cold beer. Pretty cool. It's almost like I got 17 people hanging out in the garage with me. Yeah. All these reels are made in China, but I want an American name on my China reel. Dude, don't expose the Digitaka on here, man. Come on, bro. This is YouTube Live, man. You don't talk about Digitaka and all those other awesome websites like that. We're not gonna talk about getting stuff from Digitaka. Smoking a dab pen, you drinking cold beer, and I'm smoking. Happy 420. Right on, brother. Right on. I did a Canadian fly-in muskie trip with some old timers around 1995 to 96. Every one of them had a Calcutta. Yeah, dude, the Calcuttas had a chokehold on the industry back then. That was all my grandfather had. That was all my grandfather had. Let me show you guys something cool. Little trip down memory lane right here, boys. Get out of the boat and get in the rod holder. So, my grandfather, Howard Furtick, was the man, the myth, the legend on Lake Tahoe. And it's because of his flipping ability. My grandfather was a small gold Shimano Calcutta guy. But what's cool is he's recently given me a couple of his flipping sticks out of the 90s. A couple of these flipping sticks have won some huge tournaments on Toho, and he gave them to me, and I've been holding on to them. But back in the day, these guys right here, this is an American made All Star flipping stick, telescopic. Back in the day, flipping sticks were telescopic. 7.6 full cork handle, made right here in America. Made in the USA, all star, 7.6 telescopic flipping stick. This one is one out of the 90s. It is still here, and it is in immaculate condition. Like, I'm talking immaculate condition. My grandfather had an arsenal of those rods right there with gold Shimano Calcuttas on them, spooled up with the green, the moss green, the Berkeley big game monofilament, 20 and 25-pound test, and these big lead bullet weights that he would stab a toothpick into and break it off so that it was pegged. Times were different back then, but man, I tell you what, that dude caught a lot of big fish. I mean, a lot of big fish. And all he ever flipped was a June bug ribbon tail worm. I was using a Mitchell 308. Broomsticks, man. I tell you what, I've stood on the back deck of my grandfather's old Ranger boat. He had an old Ranger 373V with a Mercury 150 XR4 Black Max on the back of it. And I have watched that man rip more 3 to 6 pound fish out of the grass on Toho, and they would come flying out of the grass and smack the head of the trolling motor than I can even remember. All while smoking a cigarette at that and never miss a lick. He'd stick cigarette in his mouth and get down to business. Couldn't afford the Calcutta when I was a kid, so I used the Catalyst or Catalyst. Ever used one? No, no. It's funny because back then Shimano had these, and they were the ones that he was buying for me when I was young and I was fishing with him. We used to fish a trail called Southern Bass Trails. That plaque right there is a Southern Bass Trails plaque from my grandfather and I dropping a huge bag of fish on the scales out of Toho. Southern Bass Trails went out of Southport. We had 30 something pounds. I don't remember, but that's what that plaque is right there. Southern Bass Trails of America. Um, Back when I was fishing with him, fishing those tournaments, he was buying me these little cheap Shimano Bantams. And I think they were like a B200 or a B2000 or something like that. It was a B2 something, but that's what I grew up using. Got an old Bass Pro Shops flipping stick my dad had. Dude, it is so cool to have the old rods that these guys use, these hammers, these legends used back in the day. Because like, why and how is this old 1990s all-star American made flipping stick still around today? Dude, it is 2025, about to be 2026. And dude, fishing rods nowadays, you're lucky to get a little bit of use out of them before they crumble. How the heck could those rods back then take that kind of abuse and still be around today? I don't know. Good old slingshot. Man, I'll tell you what, Gary, that it was the monofilament. Had to have been the monofilament, right? Dude, I'll never I've fished enough and I've fished enough tournaments and I've fished around enough people that I can tell you with 100% certainty when you're talking about fishing, one of the most asinine things that you can ever say is you're the best at anything, right? You're never the best. There's always somebody better than you. I'm pretty good at flipping. I like to think I can hold my own with a flipping stick in my hand. All I use is straight braid. I don't use mono. Occasionally, I'll go to like 20-pound fluoro if it's during the spawn and the fish are a little bit, they get a little weird. But I have never sent fish flying into the trolling motor, a few here and there, but I've never sent fish flying over the boat into the trolling motor, smacking in the side of the boat the way my grandfather used to on a 7/6 flipping stick with monofilament fishing line. It had to have been that the line would stretch out and then try to return, right? Little slingshot. I don't know. But my grandfather had a much different hook set than I did too. Plus, flipping back then was a lot different than the way I do it now. For me, I guess what I would, technically what I do is pitching. The rod never leaves my left arm the whole time. The rod is in my left arm the entire time. And all I do is I just pendulum the bait out to the cover that I'm flipping. My grandfather would flip like old school drawstring, if you will. Drawstring, flipping, pull the line out, ease the bait over into the grass, let the line go back, draw the string back out. And his hook set was stick the cigarette in his mouth, grab the rod and reel with the left hand, crank down, and then he would be holding onto the rod and reel with his left hand, grab the butt of the rod with his right hand, and just like do this nasty, like pendulum hook set. Yes, Rachel, it is about that time. I don't know. Times were definitely different back then. Bass fishing was much better back then than it is now. There's not there's not a soul around that can convince me that the bass fishing is better today than it was in the 90s. It just is not. Ooh, crispy boy. Thank you, Rachel. Fresh, cold, crispy boy. Yep. It's always cool to have your wife watching the YouTube live and keeping you stocked up with a fresh cold beer. But tell you guys what, I really wish that I could go back and dude, I really wish that I could go back and be like, I wish I could have been born 20 years earlier. Like seriously. We live in really cool times. The electronics thing is really cool. It's really cool to see where technology has come with bass fishing, but I wish I would have been born about 20 years sooner. I wish that I could have been, really kind of going it through my 20s and 30s in the 90s. The bass fishing was extraordinary. Bass boats were really, really cool. They were small by comparison standards to today's bass boats and but like Ranger was really making a good boat. I don't know that Stratus, any old timers in here, was Stratus around in the 90s? I don't think Stratus was around in the 90s, were they? I know that Ranger was making a really good boat. The two-stroke game was really cool. You know, in the 90s, they were really pushing for fast speeds on bass boats. You got into the early 2000s and Bassmaster. Dude, Bassmaster was at its peak. It was at its peak in the 2000s, man. They had helicopters with the cameras. They would get the helicopters out there and tournament takeoff, man. Now they fly drones around and stuff like that, and they have live coverage and stuff, but I don't know, man. I wish I could have been in my like 20s and 30s through the 90s. You could like they had those like super short coaches shorts. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Like the really, really short, skin tight shorts that football coaches wore. That's what all the bass fishermen were wearing. Okay, so the Stratuses were around in the 90s. Okay. Fished out of a 92-year model Stratus. Wow. With a Johnson Fast Track. I didn't know that they were that old. I did not know that they were around that long. That is crazy. Stratus in the 90s. Champion was the shit. Yeah. Champion made a couple really good hauls. My grandfather was a Ranger guy, so he thought every single other boat out there besides Ranger was just junk. Um, man, what a time to be bass fishing. Like seriously, what a time to be bass fishing. All you had to worry about was a freaking plastic worm. The bass were all really stupid. These bass that we're fishing for nowadays are some of the smartest bass ever. And they know when live scopes hitting them. They know all of our little tricks. They're smart. I can't show the shorts I wore back. Dude, they had some short shorts back in the 90s, boy. I've seen some pictures, some of these guys weighing in fish around my grandfather, some of those tournaments he used to fish. And it was like, golly, bro. Had the old like they'd have like on a pair of shorts, they were like nuts dang near hanging out the bottom of, wearing a pair of like white tennis shoes and have like a skin tight polo shirt on tucked into the shorts. What bait or technique would you recommend to someone who knows how to fish but isn't an expert? Probably a banjo minnow. Banjo minnow or the helicopter lure all day. Still rocking my 95 gambler. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. My buddy Connor, who I get to fish with sometimes, has got, I don't know what year it is, but he's got a gambler intimidator. And that is a really cool little boat. I love that little boat. Up north where I'm from, they are redoing the gamblers, making them look nice again. Tube socks. Yes, dude. That's the look I'm talking about, man. Bring that look back, dude. Bring that look back. Tell me that look doesn't scream bass fishing. Can't even imagine what the fishing must have been like back then, dude. It was so much better. It was so much better, dude. It was so much better on Kissimmee just 10 years ago, man. 15 years ago. Dude, it sucks so bad now. It's not even funny. Gamblers are fast, 80 miles an hour. Yeah, that's fast. That's fast. I'm lucky. This little Phoenix is pretty fast. It won't touch 80, but we're doing upper 70s, and I'm happy with that. Dad still runs his 95 Storm with the Evinrude Vindicator. Such a simple boat in comparison to our rigs now. They were, man. They were. No, it just screams hell. Oh man, I'm telling you. Coach shorts, polo shirt tucked in, little shorts pulled up around your chest, tube socks, pack of cigarettes, and a flipping stick. That's bass fishing right there, buddy. Those old storms were pretty cool boats. I fished out of a few of them. I didn't like them. Really, really small boats. Winston's, man. My yes, sponsored vest with iron on patches. Yes, dude. Yes. I had a khaki button up Bass Pro Shops shirt that had patches on it. Wonder if I don't have a picture of that somewhere in my phone. Iron on patches used to be the deal. They used to be the deal. I am not going to have a picture of that in the phone. Would have been cool if I did. Oh well. But Mere Winston's, yeah. My grandfather smoked. What were they? I should know because I used to have to ride with him in his 88 Toyota single cab pickup truck that he had for forever. We would go to the smoke shop, the Seminole Casino smoke shop over in Tampa or whatever, and he would go through a drive-through window at a smoke shop to pick up just cartons of cigarettes. I mean, like, thinking back now, dude must have been stocking up for like the month. Like, it's crazy. He would buy he would there were Doral 100s, like boxes of these things. It was crazy. Iaconelli has been wearing some throwback stuff. He has, man. He has. I think most of us should, dude. We all need to make bass fishing great again. Get rid of the live scope. Get rid of all this awesome technology. Make boats small and narrow again. So aviators. Yes, that's what my grandfather wore. They were the Strike King, like Bill Dance, big round, like smoke colored lens aviator glasses. I don't know. Maybe all that stuff is the secret to catching giants. Well, guys, I think I'm about to get off of here. This has been a really cool Friday night live from my garage. Cold beer, talking about bass fishing, getting ready for the weekend. It's Friday night. Got to get up early in the morning, hook up the boat to the truck. Tomorrow, Lake Toho, 8 hours, catching a ton of fish. And then Sunday, I get to drive to the St. Johns River. Well, I will be treated to a guide trip out of somebody else's boat. So I'm excited about that. That should be fun. Should be fun. It's probably going to be freaking cold up there. But roger that. See you next time, bro. Man, I hope all of you guys who are watching this have an awesome weekend of fishing. I really do. Hope you guys smash them. We'll be live probably again tomorrow morning. That's one of my favorite things to do is do a little live stream on the lake in the mornings. So we will catch you guys